Can you hear what she is crying about? This is Ling sitting on the ruins of her home in China. One day, a local land developer unlawfully tore down her home while she was asleep. When the sun rose, her house was nothing but rubble. She was suddenly homeless with no other choice. She could only sit on the ruins and protest. The sign above her says, "The law does not tolerate violent demolitions of residences." Her relatives posted Ling's story on Weibo, a Chinese social media, hoping to draw attention from the media and public. However, Ling's story was never picked up. After finding out about her story, I wanted to know whether Ling's case was an outlier and how it might have differed if this had happened to a man. In my study, I found that Ling is not the only woman who this has happened to. In fact, there were many more women whose stories were similar to Ling's but were not mentioned in the media. I also found that men's protests that were similar were picked up much more by the media than women's protests. This raises the question, how does media shape our conceptions of gender and resistance? To this date, there currently exists no research analyzing this relationship. Using big data from Weibo, I look at over 120,000 protest events and their corresponding media reports from 2010 to 2017. By using textual methods to determine the number of women versus men of each protest, I was able to analyze the relationship between gender participation, media, and protest dynamics. I found that women protest more and more violently than men, but men get reported by media much more than women. And the few times that women are reported, they're portrayed as passive. Ling and most of the other women taking part in protests are doing so for survival. I term this relationship the media gender protest cycle. Oppressive gender structures exclude women from resources for their survival, such as their homes. Therefore, with no better solution, they have to protest, often violently. But the media does not report on these women, and therefore, these women receive no public attention and their needs are not met. And as the media misrepresents women as passive, it legitimizes women's subjugation, which then continues the pattern of women being excluded from resources. And the cycle keeps going. In this key political moment, my research shows how seemingly unrelated things like media, gender, and protest are in fact inseparable. Think about that the next time you see reports of protest in the media. And as media's participation in protests rises globally, what will it take for the media and hence the public to properly acknowledge it? I hope that my research can play a part in bettering media portrayals of women's resistance and the lives of women like Ling around the world. Thank you for your time.